Okay, so that is, my garlic is simmered. Now what I want to do is go ahead and throw in the entire jar or can of tomato paste. Scoop it all out, all that thick, delicious tomato paste. And I usually like to stick to just the plain tomato paste. They do have like roasted garlic flavors or basil flavors, but I like to stick to just the regular because once you start adding the different ingredients, it might be a little overkill. Okay, so the jar is completely empty, or can. What I want to do is fill it up twice to the top with water. One can of water just went in. And here goes another can of water, just right into the pot with the tomato paste. And it's going to have the olive oil, and it's going to have the garlic. Okay, so once that is in, I would go ahead and continue to leave your temperature on, medium to low, as of right now. Now, you can go ahead and continue to throw all the rest of your ingredients in. I use regular table salt. I would say, about a quarter to a half a teaspoon. Again, I would say, depends on, how much salt you really like in your pasta sauce. We like to go heart healthy, so I use, again, just like a quarter teaspoon of salt. And then pepper, the same. And that goes right into the pot as well. Then I'm going to use just regular old Italian seasonings, and I'm going to use a teaspoon of that. Okay, so I'm going to take a teaspoon of this Italian seasoning, since it's kind of full to the top, so I got to be careful. Now, here's a trick. The dried Italian seasonings that come in the jars like this are perfectly great to use, and they last a long time. But because they've been pressed into this jar, what I want to do is put it into my hand, just like that, and then crush it in my hand as I put it in the sauce. What that does is helps release a lot of those delicious flavors that have been suppressed in that little jar. Okay, then next, I want to add some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Now, again, the grated Parmesan cheese is fine. This is freshly shredded Parmesan cheese. And again, what I'm going to use, and of course my hands are clean, I'm going to use probably about a third to a half a cup. And that goes right in as well. A little trick to my sauce is I use a little bit of C&H sugar. Now that helps to kind of take that bite of the tomato sauce away. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. Doesn't make it too sweet. And that right here is just going to go right in the sauce. 2 tablespoons. Right in. Okay, so there's that. Now, for the extra delicious basil flavor, I'm going to take mine some out of the refrigerator or freezer. Show you what that looks like. So this is it. This is basil from my garden that I've grown all summer. And all I do is take it out and I chop it up and I put it into a little bag like this. And I'll take about a handful. It's frozen still. You can still smell that delicious aroma. About a small palm size or so. And I'm going to crush it. It's frozen. And I'm going to put it right in my sauce. And that's really all you need for that. My hand off. Now what I'm going to do, that's everything. So did you see how quick and easy that was? Let me show you what that looks like now. Here it is. See that? And all you're going to do is stir it up. Keep it on low. And let it simmer. You kind of want to keep stirring it every once in a while. You don't want to have it on a high heat because you don't want to burn it. But you just want to simmer it on medium to low just until the tomato paste, which is kind of thick, let that break down a little bit and become a thick, delicious sauce. So let's recap. This is a super easy, inexpensive tomato sauce that you can make and use for everything. I use this tomato sauce to make, of course, spaghetti and meatballs. I use it for my lasagna. I'll use it for chicken parmesan. The uses for this are endless. Anyhow, so let's recap. So we have a 1 12-ounce can of any type of tomato paste. Be sure and get the plain, okay? You're going to have a tablespoon, good olive oil. You know, your name brand olive oil kind of doesn't work as well. I mean, it does, but the flavor of this is amazing. You want minced garlic or fresh garlic, which you'll have to smash and chop and make it pretty fine to go into your pot. Just 2 tablespoons of C&H sugar, a teaspoon of Italian seasonings. Be sure and crush it to release those flavors. Salt, pepper. Don't you love my old school salt and pepper shakers? And then your freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And I think that is and 2 cans of water, which 2 12-ounce cans of water. And your fresh basil. Doesn't have to be fresh. If you don't grow it in a garden and have it frozen like I do, you can use the dried that comes in a jar or a can or a container like this. It works the same. Crush it up, release those flavors. And that is it. You can always, at this point, you can, once it's good and simmered, you can add meatballs. You know, make your meatballs ahead of time, and go ahead and once they've kind of cooled a little bit, throw them in your pot of sauce and let that go. You can add some Italian sausage to it. Like I said, it's just endless possibilities as to what you can use this sauce for. And it's so quick and easy. I mean, it literally took me, 5 minutes to put it all together. And with this, boil some noodles and you've got dinner. It's almost as quick as opening a jar of sauce. Now, I know the jars of sauces are probably, $1, but look at the sodium on the back of it. The sodium is going to be really high. So, I tend to not use as much salt in my cooking. And this is my mother-in-law's recipe, by the way, and she was Irish and English. So I've taken this recipe because it's heart healthy, and I like making it for my husband and myself, and my kids. Everybody loves my dishes so far. Well, thanks so much for joining us for our very first episode of Dawn's Cooking Kitchen, and hopefully tune in and we'll have more recipes here forward. Thanks.